Alright everybody, how's things? It's nice to be on the camera again. Took me a while to come back on. I just didn't know what to, like, if I wanted to make videos all the time or if I wanted to make videos just when I really had something to talk about and something like a good video. So really I've just not really been bothering with the videos, but at the same time I have been wanting to make videos, and it's just some motivation in a way that I need to do it and things. But there's so much in media to talk about now with all the things that are going on around the world. Even though mainstream media is not a thing that I really look into, and I don't really like support the mainstream media. The mainstream media being all the top news channels and corporations and newspapers and companies, corporations and that. I don't really support any of them, but you will see the news has been full with hundreds of stories of this Gaza Strip and what's been happening in Palestine and Jerusalem and with the Arabs and the Jews, and you will see all different stories and opinions on this stuff, right? But basically the way the media is making it out as if it's a fair war between the Israelis and the Palestinians. They're basically making it out as if it is a war that is going on, right? It is a war that is going on, and it has been going on for years, but why is it happening? Why? That's it. Ask why. So if you never ask, then you never know. So that's what we want to know. Why is this war happening? And the United Nations are saying they're actually the peacekeepers, the United Nations, but as far as I know, the United Nations, well, I know the United Nations are really, they've got an agenda to try and bring this. They talk about world peace and they talk about harmony and getting everybody together. That's why we're called the United Nations, UN. But there is a secret agenda hidden in them. Who controls the UN? I know it's not just one person, but where does the control stem from, and who's been controlling it for years and years? How did it start up? We know, like, we've always had divided nations, right? But maybe back in the day we were all one. Whether you believe we came from Africa or whether you believe, I don't know what you think, right? But maybe we were all one at one point, and we still are all one underneath, you know, we're all the same. But we ended up with different, like, groups and stuff like that. That's how you get minorities. I think there is the United Nations, whoever got in charge of them, I think it's been people, like rich corporations that have decided they want to really take charge of this world and really try and live their lives and get all the money they can and just see what they can. But see, because they're getting that much power, they've got that much money that they can do anything they want, and they've got so many people working for them and so many corporations that are all linked together. Like, they're no separate. Even though you think it's the BBC, the CNN and like all different news companies, really they're all pushing forward like the one sort of message, and it is exactly, they are controlled. Even like top companies like Microsoft, Apple, Walt Disney, Marvel, Sony, like things that are really up there in the world. These are all big companies that are getting puppeted. People have got a grasp, people control these companies. So really it's not the workers' faults or anything like that. We being the workers, we being the police officers, we being the doctors, we don't really know, we can't really, we've just learned what we've been told, right? To become something, you need to be something, right? Like, to become a soldier, you need to learn what's going on in the world and stuff like that, right? And we've been getting taught all through our lives, off these media, off the papers and stuff, like war is needed, and there's these other countries that come and bomb, and like Al Qaeda and stuff like that. Even although some of us know Al Qaeda is set up by United Nations and by our people. Like, when I say our people, I mean the United Nations, the EU, like the top richest, the royals, the France, Germany, England, Italy, just about everybody. And this is who is in power, United Nations. And I think history's been wrote up. Basically, I think history's been wrote up to benefit these people, including, I think, right back to World War, right back, the Vietnamese War, World War One, World War Two, even the modern day war for 9/11, the Twin Towers getting took down of so-called terrorists, but these so-called terrorists were actually implanted and made to do that. That's our own people really orchestrating things, boom, right? And then that was our excuse once we blew up the towers to go all over the media and start printing stories that there's terrorists bombing this, and so we could really have an excuse to go to war with these other countries and have that. That's what the United Nations are doing. We know, I'm not going to say we believe, because we know they have an agenda to bring everybody together, right? The one big world government, one world tax, one world law, things like that. That's what they want, and that's what all this ties into, like the Illuminati, secret societies, Freemasons and stuff like that, and it all ties in. These United Nations people, whether you believe they're peacekeepers or not, I'm afraid to say they are not peacekeepers. Obama is only a puppet as well. Strings are getting pulled. Yeah, he may be implementing all this stuff, he may be speaking out front and telling it, letting doing all the dirty work, but really, he is controlled as well. He may be one of the top ones, but he is controlled. Don't you think he's the main one? You see, every president that comes along in the line, they're all the same. You need to be rich to be even in with a chance to be president, so how is a poor man or a poor woman even going to have a chance to lead their country or stuff like that? It's all set up, it's a system. We go to school as well, and the minute we go to school, that is training us all the history for years ago, the way they've wrote it up. We don't know any of the history, we don't even know if it exists, right? They don't even know who built the pyramids, right? We don't need to know. We don't need to know that, but they don't know nothing. They're just telling us history, like the Mayans and the, like, I believe in Mayans, right? I believe in ancients, real people that have been living in this world, and they know real truths in nature and connection with peace and love and stuff like that, right? Real people like that, but know the Mayans and know the wrote up calendars and the wrote up modern Bibles and Qurans and stuff like that. I think that is all to follow their agenda, this United Nations religion they do it through. And I was getting back to school here. In school, all the education, the history's all wrote up, whether it's the religious side of things or whether it's telling us about Hitler and the Jews or whether it's something else. I think it's really all set up. In fact, I don't even think I know. And right now in this Gaza Strip, the Jews are walking beside Arabs. Like, let's just never mind Jews, Arabs, let's never mind any of that stuff, because that doesn't exist. Labelling is just to divide us. We all have one love, and a love for this God, like a God, maybe gods, we don't know, but it's a love, right? And it's the same sort of love, but both two kinds, two kinds of people, Jews and Arabs, walk together, right? All over Palestine. It used to be Palestine, Palestinian land, and then all of a sudden Israel settled on Palestine years ago. See, I wish I really knew all the real history, because I don't know all the dates and stuff like that. That's where I really need to educate myself in, but I choose not to really educate myself in that area, because I don't really think you need to know the dates, but it does help to know the dates if you're trying to explain it to somebody and stuff like that. But Palestine was the one bit of land, and it was free. Everybody was roaming free. Peace, basically, no under the rule of any harsh, corrupt government. There wasn't any like greed or anything like that. Everybody was fair. It was like land of nature, and basically Israel settled in it years ago. And some people, I'm using this word believe again because it's like it is like a belief, but it's not a belief, it's a fact. But some people believe it and some people don't even know, and some people do know that Israel is Britain and it is America. It is the United Nations. We are Israel. We settled on Palestinian land, supposedly Jews, but not all Jews are bad people, not all Muslims are bad people, not all Christians are bad people, not anybody's bad people, right? But these certain people settled on Palestinian land called Jews. I think it's Jews, right? But there's different versions. You get the Zionist Jews and you get the normal Jews. The Zionist Jews actually have an evil sort of agenda. They're the rich that really control this world and stuff like that. Like Jews are just average Jews, like an average Christian or an average Muslim or something like that. They don't really know. They're going with the word of the Bible. But see, Zionist Jews, they really know that they believe that they're right and they believe everything's made up, and they're really evil. They want to take over this world, and they are. That's what the United Nations are. They are ran by these rich people, and it's no Jews. Some people call them Zionist Jews, but it's no. It's like just these rich evils, what we call Illuminati, which we call the government, which we call this. These are the rich corporations, and they exist. It's like just rich people. All the richest corporations and stuff like that, they're all tied in together. They do exist. They're what control United Nations, and they're getting all about the world, making their own sort. They're trying to spread this empire and try to make it into a big world government, a big world law, United Nations. And in Palestine they had freedom, and we needed to get an excuse. Israel, boom, we've got Israel there now, and eventually, 50 years later, 50 years ago, it was like all Palestinian land, basically, with just a wee bit of Israel land. Now I might be wrong, feel free to educate me if you want, but this is, to my knowledge, this is what I know. It was all Palestinian land, like years and years ago, basically. Now we've got the Jews settled there, and now 50 years later, now to the year 2014, where we are now, right? It's basically all now Israel territory, and these rich Zionists, basically Jews. It's no Jews, but basically a lot of history's been brought up, like with Hitler as well. See, like the history, Hitler killing 6 million Jews, and the thing about the gas chambers and stuff like that. Well, to be honest, a lot of Jews would have died, right, and a lot of people would have get killed, but it wasn't just Jews, it was people like me and you. It was all different people around the world that our United Nations was also killing. Remember, Hitler, everything Hitler done was allowed. Like he became the leader of that country, you know what I mean? He gave the leader. So it's like, and then if you go deeper down into it, who gave Germany the oil and stuff? Who really? It was America that orchestrated all this world war shit and all the Jewish killings and stuff. It wasn't even Jews that were getting killed. That was just the way it got wrought up, just to benefit these Jews. So like they're living on this land now, Palestinian land, and the Jews are taking over and killing off all the Palestinians, and now everybody all over the world are just thinking it's an even fight between the Palestinians and the Jews, because the Jews have had all the history wrote up saying they got slaughtered and stuff like that. So everybody thinks the Jews are innocent and stuff. But remember, when I'm saying Jews, I don't really mean the Jews, so sorry for saying that. I mean like these Zionists, these people that are really, that know they're doing evil, that really know they're rich and really getting out their way to destroy humanity and everything that we're worth. Because Palestinian people are brilliant people. They would help you out, and now the way they have to live, they're living in the Gaza Strip, this wee small place, well, miles long or whatever, but they're all confined into the Gaza Strip, and all around it now is now Israeli territory, the British Empire, the American Empire, and we give Israel all sorts of bombs, all sorts of weapons, everything, and we orchestrate things from Israel, and we say all over the media, because at the end of the day we own all the medias, and we say on all the medias that the territory that fucking Israel is causing it all and stuff like that, and we're making out Israel as just like another innocent sort of thing, but really innocent no, really Israel is dominated by the British, the American, and this empire, you know. We are really killing the world off from Israel right now, but I'm not blaming the innocent people for Israel, because it's so sad, and it's happening all over the world anyway. It's not just happening in Palestine, it's happening in Africa, it's happening in China, it's even happening in Russia, Ukraine, Libya, Syria. Thousands of people are dying in Syria, thousands upon thousands, man, since the war began, since 9/11, and even way back before that. But since the Twin Towers came down, that has gave the world, like, that has painted a grim picture on the world, and it's told us a lie about terrorists. We all think that there's terrorists now, and we all have this image that there's people out bombing places, and we want the United Nations to step in and always defend us, but really we are the people orchestrating all the bombings. And I know I'm no silly, because I know nowadays there is people doing bombings because of the way the world is. It's all orchestrated and it's all gone. So now you are going to get people really off their nut and like trying to bomb people and stuff like that. But they're not really going to have missiles, are they? They're not going to have bombs, they're not going to have things like that, because at the end of the day, if they have all that special equipment, it must mean there's a government or some sort of rich people like guiding them along the way and orchestrating it. You know what I mean? Our governments, we know our governments are nasty. We know the governments don't support us the way everything is, right? The way the war is, the war on drugs for starters, people are dying over this shit. The way the war on terrorism is, the way our food is, the way our water is, the way people are getting killed off for really coming out with the truth, whether it's conspiracy or not. I totally believe, and I'm not saying kill off with a gun to their head or something like that, boom. Kill off with medication, you know, doctors, you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, doctors are only puppets. I take my hat off to good doctors, but obviously there's somebody higher than doctors that makes medication, that makes things in laboratories, pharmaceuticals. There is an agenda to control us, and the United Nations are at the root, and they are trying to pretend that they're all about world peace and go about the world saying they're about peace and helping charities out and trying to give people vaccinations, like stuff like that. All the youngsters in other countries that are dying with no nutrition, they're trying to give vaccinations. They need food, and that is the serious thing. They need food, and I'm going to be honest, man, nothing even matters in this life. The way we look, or the way we even, what we support in that. At the end of the day, we are all spiritual and we are all beings, so we're all one, no matter what anybody says. We may be different, right, but we are all connected, one. And I don't care, man. I wasn't even going to make a video, right, just because of the way my hair was and the way, you know what I mean, but I don't care. I'm comfortable now. I'm used to having short hair, to be honest, right, and this has just went overboard, my hair, and I don't even want to make videos of it and do things like that. But to be honest with you, you've got to not even care about all the things. You are your own, you cause yourself the problems, you know what I mean. I don't care if MD judges me. What does that mean if MD judges me, if MD's doing this or doing that? We can just live our lives the way we want, man, and we build up our own negative things, you know what I mean. Just be who you are and be true to yourself. We need to stand up for the truth and what's happening all over the world and the way the governments are trying to dominate us. Just stand up for peace and freedom, man. That's the way we do it. And know that there is light at the end of the tunnel. There is. We just need to remember that we're all together. We're all in this together. That's cool.